Good evening, everybody. So welcome to August cohort. This is the August stream for grant writing mastery. I want to especially welcome everybody into this program. I would call it more or less a work structure because we're all coming together to work together so that you all can build the skill, build the capacity to be able to assess grant funding for the work you do. So for this August cohort, we have participants across 4 countries in Africa. So we have participants here from Nigeria. We have participants from Ghana. We also have from South Africa and Rwanda. I want to specifically welcome you all. I like the fact that we have a multicultural group so people can learn about different programs, how interventions are being implemented in your specific country, where you work, the kind of programs you do. Also, the kickoff meeting is to help us understand our work more, because during the onboarding workshop, we didn't really have the opportunity for all of us, everybody here, to share what they do. So this kickoff meeting is for you to really talk about the focus of your organization, the kind of programs you run, what your expectations are from the 5 weeks engagement. And I also share the guidelines and what we have in store for everybody, the expectations on a week-to-week basis, and also how to use the materials, the resources that have been given to you. So that will be it. That's the agenda or the plan for tonight. My name is Rukewa Uvietesiwe. Simply, people call me Ruki. And the Ruki is R-U-K-Y, not the other newbie Ruki, but R-U-K-Y. That's the short form of my name. And I've been on this journey for about 12 years now, being in the development sector. I actually started my career from a business school way back in Delta State, Nigeria, where we're working with young people to help them build their employability capacity. It's been quite a journey over this last decade. I found myself in different sectors, in different rooms, and I count myself privileged to have the opportunity to develop the skill set that I could also transfer to other social innovators. And that's why we have set up this program. And over the years, I've worked with organizations that have implemented interventions supported by the large funders globally. I've also had the privilege of being able to mobilize funding directly for the organizations I've worked with through grant proposal writing. And so far, personally, I've been able to raise over $1 million, including the work that our participants have been doing in the last 3 years that we came in more intentionally to provide our training, to provide coaching, capacity building services to other social innovators just like you, especially across Africa and then the Caribbean. So welcome once again. I'm super excited that we'll be going on this journey together. As you're building your capacity, as you're building your skill sets, I'm also getting to learn more about your programs and the different ideas that you all are running with across the various communities where you work. So that's it about me. I'll be calling on us to do your introduction. So I want to know your location, your organization, the programs that you run, and also your expectation from grant writing mastery program. So on my screen, I'll just take, it's a small size today. I think over half of the class have not shown up tonight because of one activity or the other. So we'll start from Esther. You're the first person showing on my participants list here. So you tell us your name, your organization, your location, the programs you run, the value you give to communities, and also your expectation tonight.
Yes, thank you so much, Ruki, and good evening, everyone. So my name is Esther. I'm based in Rwanda. I work for an organization called Aspire Rwanda, and our programs basically focus on agriculture. Okay. We focus on women and economic empowerment.
Go ahead.
Should I slow down?
No, just go ahead.
As well as youth economic empowerment. So basically focusing on livelihoods. I think what I would like to get from this grant writing program is basically assistance on how we can, right now as an organization, put ourselves out there to be able to source funds, because it's
Okay.
been a challenge post-COVID. Yes.
Okay.
And yet there's still an identified need within the communities that we work with.
All right.
And so being a challenge, we're not able to meet that the needs that the community members we work
Community.
with bring across to us. But also not just that, I also as an individual want to enhance my skills on proposal writing, as
Okay.
well as sourcing funds. But the reason also mostly is that in the long term, I also want to start up my own
Organization.
organization.
Okay.
Yes. Thank
That's
you so much.
interesting. Thank you for sharing, Esther. So, Fumi,
Good evening, everyone.
good evening.
Yeah. So my name is Fumi Olaore. I am based in Nigeria, Lagos, Nigeria, and I run an organization called Save the Child, Save the Nation Foundation, and our work revolves around teaching children. So I call it career development education. We work with children from 8 to, well, the aim is to work with children from between the ages of 8 and 18. And we've been growing our programs organically. So the idea really is to learn how to um, how to source for funding, and not just, and also not, and so I mean from my from my experience with you, Ruki, I think you also you all there's some other fringe benefits of, learning how to collaborate with others, understanding who to collaborate with and how to collaborate with.
Yeah.
So that's also a fringe benefit. And I also believe that, like you said, this is like the multicultural group,
Yeah.
networking with other people to see how we can collaborate. Um, yeah, so that I'm not just limited to one place.
Yeah.
I'd love to see the world. So
Okay. Interesting.
yeah.
So, could open up your minds. And one of the things is, in group settings like this, if you're very intentional about your participation in the group setting, as people share their programs, as people talk about the work they do, people talk about the different things happening in their own context. And if it links, if it clicks, or you find some commonality with your plans or with the programs you're running, you reach out and have conversations and see what you people can do together, how you can share learning, exchange ideas, and even collaborate on projects and on proposals also. So I want us to just keep our minds open, hear out, listen to other people, and think of how you can work together, what you all can do together. So it's not only about writing the proposal, but the learning process is beyond just writing proposal. We go into project management, how to present the work you do, how to come up with programs that are really very, very valuable. For some of you that have participated in any of my programs before, I go big on being results driven, being impact driven. It's not just about the activities you have set up your organization to run, not just, we're teaching young people how to farm better. It's beyond the activity. We want to see what's the broad outcome, what's the change that will be delivered as a result of your work. And this is what our partners, grant funders, actually look out for when they're willing to putting money into programs and into intervention. So it's a lot that we have. It's a journey. And at this beginning, I just want us to open our minds, ourselves up to opportunities that can even happen internally from the program, and then from the opportunities that you want to leverage on using your proposals that you would come up with for the program. So thank you for sharing. For me, Grace, let's hear you, Grace. Hello, Grace, are you here? Okay, and Kofo.
Good afternoon or good evening.
Good evening, dear.
I am Falake Kufoido. I run a nonprofit organization called Amal Outreach. We are a organization that facilitates, community development, but our primary focus is healthcare development, sustainable healthcare development in underserved communities. Over the years, we've run some social monitoring, screening, and then following up with a social monitoring program for hypertension and diabetes. And that has helped members of the community be able to even understand their disease condition better and be able to manage it and pay attention to it. So their their doctor's visits are going better, their disease control has been better. We're expanding our services and venturing into more things like, opening up a subsidized clinic and also be able to run more outreach programs that, help people to screen. In Nigeria, preventive health is not really something. It's when something happens, when there is big problem, even when there's something you are managing until it becomes, it overpowers you before you go to the hospital. And at that point, it costs so much more money rather than when you prevent it or when you treat it early. So that's the forefront, that preventive or early detection side is what we really want to emphasize on. So yes, we're trying to find avenues to, get finances to support our activities. Hopefully, meet other wonderful founders and nonprofit organization members that we could collaborate or work with or just even learn from their journey and their work. So it's lovely to be here.
Thank you for like it. So it's now I'm realizing that it's actually you. So I've been looking at the Kofi all this while because we have one participant from Ghana. His name is Kofi. So I was thinking he's the one here. So good to hear from you for Thank you. And the wonderful work you're doing with Amal. And then Grace, are you back? Can you hear us, Grace?
Yeah, yes, sorry.
Okay, so share.
Sorry, my name is Grace. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
I'm Grace, and I'm based in Nigeria. I'm in Kaduna. I operate from Kaduna.
Okay.
Right now, I'm from Abuja FCT. The name of my organization is a Grace Aiding International Foundation. We started a few years ago.
We can't hear very well. Though.
Okay, so the same we can hear you. So you may want to increase the volume of your device or get closer to your device.
Can you hear me now?
I think it's a little better. Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. Like I said, my name is Grace, and I'm based in Nigeria,
Okay.
in Kaduna, within Kaduna region. But right now I'm speaking from Abuja FCT in Nigeria.
Okay.
Grace Aid International Foundation was founded about 3-4 years ago.
Okay.
I didn't know anything about NGO structure, operations, and so on and so forth. But out of passion to do something for the society, I'm a businesswoman. I floated it and I have been operating it on my own, in my own little way. But this time around, I decided to do it the way it should be done. Trying to know how to operate NGO, structure it, and then seek for funding,
Okay. All right. So what particular population do you serve? What kind of programs do you run under Grace Aid?
It's gender-based, women and children, mainly women and children empowerment, and feeding the vulnerable, and sometimes hospital, attending to some hospital issues for people that cannot pay their bills. And then went to agriculture too. We've just basically started.
Wow, it's
Can you hear me?
we can hear you now. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, it's like, why is it?
Yeah, I just muted the mic now. One of our participants just signed in. Yeah. So you said you do something around agriculture also. Have you just started that part of the program, or it's been something you've been doing?
It's on the pipeline. It's part of our program. The agricultural sector. I'm planning to package some things, some food stuff, and then distribute and share to the vulnerable from time to time, especially the ID camps. Feeding. I'm into feeding, so I love feeding the poor.
Okay.
So
So
it's
you
part of.
operate? Do you operate a food bank from where you
Not a
distribute
food.
these raw food items?
That is what is on my mind, and that is the reason why I'm here. Because when I am able to bring out my all the plans I have,
Structure your
then
ideas. Yeah.
you'll be able to help me, put them together and direct me on the best way to go about it.
Okay, that's fine. So good to have you, Grace. Thank you for joining us. And so we'll go over to Kofi. So Kofi, we're just interacting to really understand what everybody is doing. So it's more or less an introductory session. So where you are, your name, your organization, the kind of programs you run, where you're based, and your expectations from the session tonight, or your expectations
Hello.
from Grant Writing Mastery.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Yeah. So, my name is Kofi. I reside in Accra,
Okay.
and then I'm within the financing space.
Okay.
So, I usually, so I'm an accountant by profession,
All right.
and then I also have background in coaching entrepreneurs and small startup, including including social enterprises.
Okay.
Right. Okay. So basically, that's what I do, and as part of it, I provide services for people in terms of fundraising,
Okay.
and also ensure that. So most of the things that I do is to get businesses investment ready,
Okay.
and for some time now, what really is that I sort of been approached by most associations and groups
Okay.
that have more or less the social enterprise needs. So their funding needs are looking at, quote unquote, cheaper funding, which
Okay.
also more like bring you into the grant space. So when I found your advertisement, I felt like that's a good place to also enhance my ability to provide those
That
support
service. Okay.
and service for businesses.
All right.
So
So
basically, that's
so you run a consulting organization and you serve both businesses, social enterprises, and non-profits, right?
yeah, yes,
Okay. And from what you've shared, my understanding is as part of the services you offer funding readiness services and also grant fundraising services.
yes,
Okay. So this training, more or less, you're taking out of it your ability to be able to develop the proposals that are more aligned with the social impact sector, so you can help your customers in that sector.
yes, basically,
Okay,
yeah,
great, excellent. So it's interesting having this new this segment of participants also joining us, because most of the time we have all the non-profit founders themselves, and it's interesting because what I want you to do, one of my recommendations to you is to also really engage with the sessions and learn the different kind of programs, because so far from the introductions, we have people doing work around economic empowerment, livelihoods, agriculture, healthcare, and ensuring that communities have access to quality and affordable health. We also have programs around career development, education. So all of these ideas, as they share, we also help as you, because you have an understanding of how these different programs work. So your clients or the customer segment that you serve, if they have programs around these different program themes, you will be able to also support them to strengthen it, to know, okay, how best should they position their programs, or should they structure their programs so that they are able to get selected during the grant fund raising process. So good to have you join, Kofi. Looking forward to the next 5 weeks together. And then finally, we have Prince Ogenete Jiri Ogegere. So let's hear your thoughts. Let's hear who you are, so everybody can get to meet you, everybody can get to know you.
Okay, good evening. Am I audible?
Yes, yes, you are actually.
Okay, good evening, everybody. Once again, thanks for the opportunity to be part of this. I have known about our host program for quite a while, and I've wanted to be part of it, but
Okay.
I won't even say busy. I've just procrastinated till now. So I'm excited to be part of it, and I do know that it's not by chance that I'm meeting the people I'm meeting, Kofi, or Makara, and everywhere. I am the president of a non-profit, an NGO that is based in Nigeria, and basically what we've been into is providing empowerment services for youth and women in various fields. So we've been able to partner and then by our own self drive the organization uh, for quite some time. We've been around for about 11, 12 years now, and we've been carrying out these humanitarian services in so many different ideas we've been able to run over the years, even to secondary school students and all of that. And then a basic skill acquisition. So I do know and expect that being part of this program would help to one, sharpen the skills with which we provide these services, and then also help us to assess any resource that can help us better do what we have been doing. By resource, I mean not just funds, but every kind of
All the
resource.
services, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm happy to be here, and I hope to garner a lot and spend the next 5 weeks judiciously. I'm trusting God that I will be available. And that said, I want to apologize also for coming late. I was in another meeting too.
Okay.
I just finished, so I had to just rush out of that one to be here.
Okay. All right, that's fine. This is up here. This organization is up here, right?
Yes.
Right.
Although, and that's on that. Although we also, I have not told you that we also registered another organization. It's called Global Reformers Crusaders Network. You know, one of the limiting factors of UPIA is the name. Even though we've been
Yeah,
able to,
it makes it an ethnic based
yes,
organization, as if it's, yeah.
yes. So that disposition has been a limiting factor because once you mention the name, people want to think that
It's only
it's
focused
limited.
on this specific ethnic group. Yeah.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right, so
So
that's good.
what we did was we registered another organization, and that's one of the reasons why we are rebranding. So with what I hope to get from here is to position UPIA to be in a better place, but then use the information and knowledge I'll gather from this to now
For this new
run
organization. Okay.
the performance that has a wider reach and it's not limited.
Okay.
Yeah.
So good. Thank you for sharing, Prince. I'm so very happy because I'm seeing programs, some commonalities. So one of the common programs that you all are focused on is economic empowerment. We know that on the African continent, poverty is an endemic challenge across the continent. All countries, all communities are affected by this challenge. And then there's this push for organizations to want to do something around enhancing the economic conditions of groups or communities across the continent. So one commonality I've observed tonight is that a lot of you do you're doing something that is related or in the long run actually advances economic development of a certain population, for young people, for women, most especially. So for health, I've also observed that it's just only Amal Outreach that does something around the health in terms of health promotion. Though Grace Aid also talked about supporting with hospital bills, hospital support for certain populations. So welcome everybody. We'll go right into the guidelines for the next 5 weeks, what we're doing, the expectations that we all have. But first, I want to confirm, do we all have the toolkits? Are we able to access the resources in the proposal toolkit? So if you are able to access it, you can use the hand raise button to just raise your hand and let me know that you have access. You can actually see the materials, you can actually stream the videos, you can see all of the templates within that toolkit. So use the hand raise button, just use an icon to let me know that yes, you have access to the toolkit. If you're unable to see the hand raise button, you can just leave a chat or just open your mic and say yes, you have access to it, you're able to see the videos.
Yes, yes, Grace has access to the tools.
Okay, great, great. All right. So usually I'll tell participants to set their heart on a figure, especially for those of you that actually leading organizations and you have projects, you have interventions that you want to advance. So set your heart on a specific amount to say, I'm seeking to raise between $10,000 to $100,000. Pick a figure. It just does something, it just gives you a target to gun for, to say, okay, whatever idea that I'm coming up with, whatever proposal that I'm developing, this is what I want. I want to be able to raise $30,000. I want to be able to raise $20,000. I want to be able to raise $10,000. So we can find the time to just look at, run through your ideas. What ideas do I have? Okay, I'm looking at $20,000 here. So whatever capacity you are able to build from here, you are going to look for an opportunity for that amount of money. You're going to look for grant funding. So what we're doing here is not just the training. I mean, some of you, you've had this toolkit before. It's not just having access to the toolkit, but we're creating an environment where you actually implement learning. You get into the work, the activities of creating the proposal, populating different sections, putting your ideas together, developing those ideas and communicating them in your proposal so you can identify suitable funding opportunities and submit those project proposals. So like for July cohort, we closed out yesterday and I've already set them out to a deadline that by August 19, they should send me the evidence that they have actually applied for an opportunity. You've actually submitted their proposal, done their application, and I want to see the email notifications that yes, they have done that. So at the end of these 5 weeks, the ideas that you come up with, the document that you would create, you would actually use that to identify suitable funding opportunities and apply for that. So it's actually for implementation, it's actually for execution, not just training, not just sharing ideas here and there. We're implementing it to ensure that you have the capacity beyond here, whatever kind of application you face, whatever proposal template you see, you should be able to engage with it confidently, put in your ideas and expect to get selected from that. So set your heart on a figure. And I want to show us how to engage with the toolkit. Now, there are a lot of materials in the toolkit that you'll be using for your implementation. For those of you that have opened the email and all of that, you see that you have a set of videos, training videos, around 4 modules, no, 5, you have 5 videos, because for week 2, you're expected to watch 2 training videos because of the sections of the proposal that you will be working with. So from my screen here, I'll project it so I can walk you through the different templates. I'll walk you through the different templates, what they mean, and what you should be doing with them. So I'm just opening up my email so that I can share my screen. All right. I think I found it. So you all got an email. You all got the toolkit looking like this, sitting like this in your inbox. For some of you, I think all of you, you actually have 2 buttons. Let me ensure that everybody is muted. So you actually have 2 buttons. You have a black button, the first one that takes you to the training videos. So you access your training videos from there with the password. And so, but for this particular one, this is an old email. So you have this button that takes you to a drive. So you have about 13 materials in the drive. The first one is also the training videos. So the email I sent to you, the first button will take you to videos that are hosted on Vimeo, a streaming platform. But within this last cohort, I think half of the class actually experienced internet challenges. And at a point, they could no longer watch the videos through Vimeo. So I had to migrate. I had to upload the same set of training videos to YouTube, and they were able to access them. So if peradventure you find it challenging to watch the videos through Vimeo, you can actually watch it through here. So the first document on the drive, it's just the link to the training workshops. So you see a PDF document like this, a grant proposal writing course. You just have to click here and it will take you to the playlist where we have the 5 videos. So for week 1, you're expected to watch just the module 1. Module 1 is focused on you understanding what donors' interests are, knowing their expectations. Every funder, how they are different, the different eligibility criteria that they have set in order to streamline the number of people or be more specific about the category of organizations that should be applying for that opportunity. So when you watch that masterclass, it will teach you everything about understanding funders' interest and also community needs. So that will be the focus for week 1. In the classroom, I'm going to drop the schedule for the entire 5 weeks. I'll just drop that document. It's actually a JPEG, a picture, so everybody can quickly see it at a glance. I'm going to drop it in the classroom, showing you every week the focus and also the sections of your proposal that you should be developing. So for the first week, you'll be working on your community assessment. So you're going to be doing when you watch the training video, is about 1 hour 48 minutes, 1 hour 50 minutes. That's because it's actually a live workshop and we recorded it. I did that training and I recorded it, so we don't have to be reinventing the wheel every time we're doing grant writing mastery or teaching the same thing over again every single month, now that we're running it on a monthly cohort basis. So some of the training would actually end at about 1 hour 20 minutes or so. The others are just conversations within the class, some of the questions that they were asking. So for week 1, it's focused on understanding your donors' interest and also doing the problem analysis. So for most of you here, you were with me during the onboarding workshop, and you know that I spent a lot of time talking about how your proposal is actually, the foundation of your proposal is a problem. So you cannot just be writing a proposal based on an idea that you do not clearly understand the challenges or the gap that it is meeting. Every proposal meets a gap. So you've identified gaps within the community, challenges, needs, problems within the community, and then you're proposing a solution to it. That's what the proposal is about. And so you are going to do an analysis of what those gaps are. Now, this is because as we would look at the proposal template shortly, you'll see that all proposals have a section where you have to explain this gap. You have to discuss what the problem is, which actually forms a justification, which actually would be the reason why a funder should give you money. So if the problem is not strong enough, if you have not proposed it, not all problems have the same value. Let me explain it like that. Not all problems have the same value. I'll just use an example that we can relate with. When you see someone that says they have a slight headache, the kind of attention and urgency that person needs is different from someone that has a terminal disease like an organ failure, a heart failure, or cancer, or liver disease, or kidney disease. Both of them are sick. Both of them require attention, require help, but the two problems are not in the same category. So who would you be more pushed to support? Let me just ask that. You have two people, someone is saying, I'm tired, I have slight headache, and another person has kidney failure. Who do you think deserves more attention, more support, more rallying around so that they can solve the problem? I just want you to share. So who needs more attention? Who needs more support? Use the chat
Person
area.
with kidney failure.
Okay, the person with the kidney failure. Who else has a contrary view, or you have the same view? Anyone? Are we all here, or we have gone somewhere to go and sit down after the introduction?
Well, you know, sorry, can I just say something? You know, on the face of it, you might think the person with a headache, it's just a slight headache, or it might be an underlying issue, you know, but because the person is not able to explain their headache very well, that person might be having something deeper than a headache.
Thank you. I like this perspective you brought. That is the proposal writing process.
Yes.
That is what proposal writing is. So you just brought a new person. Me, I would actually want to support the person with this real, visible, and undeniable problem, like a kidney failure. But you just brought another perspective that this person that says he has slight headache might be suffering from something that is even more dangerous, but he's not able to communicate it, or he doesn't even know yet. So that is it with proposal writing. It is your ability to be able to explain and defend that even this one with a slight headache needs attention right now. All right. And so there are tools for you to be able to map the ideas and the argument that you should bring to your proposal. Now, a lot of times what I've observed in this past 3 years, I've observed that you might be actually meeting a need in the community. You might be doing something really valuable, but that problem, is it a high level problem, or is it something that really has alternative options? Imagine that I want to eat something, I want to eat swallow. One option is for me to just buy, okay, back then when I was in Nigeria, I can just go and get gari from the shop opposite me, make it and eat. Another alternative would be, I want to import it from Ghana, but it's more expensive. So some of the things that, as you would see by the time you engage with the training videos and you continue to work, you would see that some ideas why your proposals may be failing is not that your project is not good enough. It's just because there are other alternatives that are even more cost effective than what you have proposed. I cannot need something as basic as gari, and then I'm looking at importing it, spending a lot of money to import it from somewhere when I can get it next door. So one of the problems that a lot of projects are looking at bringing high-level solutions that are very expensive when there are very cheap alternatives that people or organizations can do that doesn't even require grant funding. Okay, so that's about it for the first module. So for week 1, we'll be having our first live coaching session by Saturday. So it's expected that you have gone through the training module for week 1 and you've already also completed the sections of the proposal specified for week 1. And then for week 2, you actually have 2 training videos to watch. That's because week 2 is focused on the technical terminologies in proposal writing and also in project design. So you understand the technical process of developing a project to meet donor standards. So the way you run your programs, the way you run activities as you are self-funded, all of those things, you just wake up one morning and go to one community to do something. It doesn't work like that. It actually follows a structured process as you will be observing and also working on in week 2. So you have 2 training videos because the first video is focused on helping you understand different technical concepts, what they mean, and the kind of information that you should supply to those sections of the proposal. And then week 2 is focused on a more technical pattern of developing a project. So I actually did those 2 in case you find yourself writing a proposal or engaging with a funder that requires you to submit technical tools like, oh, what is the logical framework? Upload the logical framework for the project. So you'll not be caught unaware. So week 2 is going to be a lot of work going through the 2 training videos and also working on the different sections that you need to complete for week 2. The third week, we're focusing on monitoring, evaluation, and sustainability strategy. So you would watch the training video for that week and then complete the sections of the proposal that have to do with that. And then finally, week 4. And then in addition, beyond just going through the training videos and doing the work, I will be reviewing the document as you are developing it on a week-to-week basis. So in the group, I'm going to drop my email. Some of you may already have my email, but I'm going to put it again in the group. So the document, let me go straight to the next important document here that you're working with. We start with a call for proposal. Every opportunity begins with a call for proposal. Sometimes it may be a document like this that you download from the funder's website, or it's just a landing page, a website with all of the information. So you may need to either bookmark that page or you copy the information and put it on a Word document. So there is a notification for funding opportunity or a call for proposal or call for application, whatever terminology. So it actually is the document that just highlights everything about that opportunity you want to apply for, what the donor wants, the kind of programs they want to see. And this is an example. So this is actually from the US Embassy, Department of State, US Embassy in Abuja, Nigeria. And I actually selected this as a case study because it covers a broad range of program areas. So whether you're doing something around technology or STEM, you're doing something around mentoring like Fumi, you're doing something around mentoring for young people, whether you're doing economic enhancement, this particular opportunity is broad. And so it's a good case study to use to develop the proposal in this class. And also, if you look at the document closely, so one of the things you want to do when you see a funding opportunity, you must read the document, understand everything that the donor wants. So this is a standard call for proposal that shows all of the information about the opportunity. And then you have the application form itself. So this is the document that you would use to organize your project ideas and explain to the funder that this is what your project is about. And then they'll be evaluating this document from all the applicants, and then they make a decision on the projects that look interesting to them and they want to fund. So this is what you'll be working on a week-to-week basis. This is your application form. So this is in a drive. You have to download this document So download everything on a drive, keep it on your computer, keep it on your laptop, keep it somewhere. Then this application form, you're downloading a copy and you'll be working with that copy. For week 1, what you're working on is this general information page where you're documenting your project title, the project coordinator name, all those information. And then after this general information about your organization, come down to this section 4, problem statement. There's a reason why I'm telling you to jump and come down to problem statement. That's because the training video for week 1 is focused on problem analysis. It's focused on you being able to understand or map the problem that your proposal is actually addressing, and you being able to discuss it in the proposal. So you're coming down to section 4 to work on the problem statement. By the time we go on other weeks, you see the different sections. You'll be coming back to fill executive summary or to fill the information about your organization. So for week 1, you're starting. So the part of the welcome that we're doing for you is just fill your general information page, section 1. And then after going through the training, you fill your problem statement. And please target to write an average of 500 words in each section, because you're actually building a master proposal. What's a master proposal? It's something that you can draw information from when you are applying to any opportunity. So you're actually creating a master proposal from grant writing mastery. So target to write an average of 500 words in each section. You're writing problem statement, let it be 500 words. By the time you're working on project activities where you're doing your objectives and activities, target to write 500 words. How your project works, target to write 500 words. Now, this is because every funder is different. And then sometimes you would see an opportunity where they're just asking you in each section, just 100 words or 1,000 characters. There's a character limit or there is a word limit. But this actually helps you to develop the content. And then if you find yourself faced with an opportunity that you need to write 100 words, you can summarize the information and put it in there. And if you need to write more, like sometimes they'll tell you 300 words, 500 words, or 800 words, you know that you have the information to put in that section of the proposal. So this is what a standard proposal will look like. So this one is a Word document that you actually have to send as an email to the funder. The instruction of how to submit is always in the notification of funding, which is the first document that I showed you, or the call for proposal, whatever it is. Sometimes or now you find that it may just be an online application system where there is no document for you to download. So you have to fill it live online. For some funders, they'll give you the opportunity to save and log in again later to continue writing, because they understand it's not possible to just fill everything at a sitting. So depending on who you're applying to and how their grant system works, they'll tell you, fill this, you can save, you log in, you create a login detail just the way you create for Facebook or any other social media platform. And then you log in into the form, you fill, you can save and come back to it later, just like how a visa application works. You save and you come back later. Or sometimes it's just a straightforward form that you must complete everything, if not you lose the information. So it's good you have a document, sitting somewhere that you can draw information from. And then when you find yourself in a situation where you are applying and then they use an electronic form, log in, copy the questions out, put it somewhere else, and then work on it. When you're done, you just copy and paste into those sections. But for this, the one you're working on is actually a Word document, which is this. Download it, save to your system, and then you start working. So for week 1, by the time you're coming on Saturday, you have even finished it. You finished working on it. So when you work on when you download the document, fill the information, upload the document to your drive. Most of you, you're using a Gmail account. If you're not using if you don't have a Gmail account, you would need to open a Gmail account. Oh, I think there are a couple of you that you're using Yahoo Mail anyway, but you have to open a Gmail account if you don't have one, so you can upload to Drive and then add me as an editor. So I can review, I can look at what you have done, and then I can make comments on the gaps I have observed, the gaps I have identified, how to approach that section of the proposal. I'll drop my email. So for those of you that you may not know how to upload a document to the Drive or how to add editors, for the last class, I actually had to record a demo video for them on how to do that. So I'll also drop that information in the classroom. So I'll drop the information on the schedule on a week-to-week basis, and I'll send you a video on how to upload the document to Drive and then how to add me as an editor to the document so I can make comments, I can make inputs in the proposal. All right, and also showing live for the co-work sessions or the coaching clinic sections is really very important, because this is where I discuss the gaps I have observed from the reviews for the week. So I'll be reviewing documents on Fridays, Thursday evening / Friday. So I want to encourage you all to ensure that you have finished whatever you're doing by Friday morning, so that I can take a look at it. I can review those documents before the live session. If not, it has to wait the next stream of reviews, which will be done the following week, Thursday and Friday. So you don't want to pile up work, so that the adjustments that you need to do does not become so complex, the adjustments you need to do in your project proposal. So ensure that every week you're taking the chunk of work that is needed from you, you're implementing, you're doing it in time. So you invite me to the document as an editor, and then on Friday, for this past week, most times I was reviewing Thursdays and Fridays because of the class size. It was much larger than this. And then also, finally, like I mentioned earlier, at the end of the program, you are going to apply for funding on your own. You're going to identify a suitable opportunity that your project idea aligns with, and then you will fill the application, the one you currently qualified for, the one you are eligible for, the one you're qualified for. Like Kofi, who is a consultant, so you're going to work with a client, because your own target will be a bit different from every other person here that is a nonprofit founder. So at the end of the 5 weeks, you're actually going to offer the service. So one of the associations, the groups that you work with, the social enterprises, you're going to find an opportunity for them, and then you're going to put in the application on their behalf. That this particular guideline is specific for Kofi, who is a consultant and offers this as a service. For the rest of you who are nonprofit founders and leaders, you're going to find an opportunity for yourself and apply for it. Let me take a look at the agenda to ensure we're not missing on anything. Okay, so we've covered it. And then other resources within the template, you can see here, we actually have 13 materials in here. The first one is the course videos. So if you prefer streaming videos on YouTube, you can actually just go through here to go through your course videos, and then you have the call for proposal, the grant application form. And then I created the templates that you can use to develop your logical framework. By the time you go through the training, you know what that is: work plan and M&E template. Remember, you're working on your master proposal. So whatever idea, you're developing it and organizing it in a way that it is eligible, it is suitable to be able to communicate it to a donor. So you're going to actually develop a logical framework for your project. You will create a work plan for your project. You create a monitoring and evaluation plan for your project. It doesn't mean you have to paste it in the application. These are separate documents that you will develop as the weeks unfold. It's work. Like I told you people in the onboarding workshop, we're coming into work. You also have a budget template here for week 4 that you use to develop your budget. And then add these other ones are just additional materials to help you. You have a grant readiness checklist that shows you everything possible that a funder can require of you to become eligible, so you can start putting that in place, you know, from bank statements to audited reports to board minutes, board composition, reports, annual reports, financial reports, strategic plan, all of these things that any funder can just ask at any time. They are there, outlined in the grant readiness checklist, so you can take a look to know, okay, what do I need to do right now? What is it that is missing that I need to begin to work on to have in place? You have a couple of ebooks here. You have this book, Grant Proposal Writing Blueprint, that is a 69-page book that walks you step by step how to write a proposal, how to do all of the logical framework, explains it. So for those of you that like reading, maybe more than sitting down to watch videos, it can come in really handy to support you. So you can just go to the book. It's about 65 or 70 pages long book that I wrote 2 years ago. So you can look at that book. You have grant funding, steps to attract funding, just gives you clarity. And then I added 2 documents, which are activity reports. So it is very essential, like you find out by the time you start watching the training videos, it's essential that whatever project you are doing, whatever activity you've been doing in your organization, you have to actually be documenting and developing the reports for those activities and then those projects. So here, you have a template for project activity report template. Then you also have project progress report template. So as you engage with the training, you will understand how a project is different from an activity. That you just went somewhere and maybe you distributed 10 bags of rice. That's an activity, as you will find out by the time you watch it. And then you see that how are those individual activities all working together to help you achieve something over a period of time, maybe for 1 year or for 2 years or for 6 months. It teaches you, this program will teach you how to better structure what you do in your organization. So it's more meaningful, it's more marketable to partners and to funders. And this is a recent document I created last week, top 20 funders in Africa. So it just outlines top 20 funders in Africa that are supporting work around tech. Is very for very specific sectors, for tech, for agriculture, enterprise development, and then environmental sustainability. So you have these 20 funders here. You have their focus, what each of them is focused on. Some of them are focused on areas that are even outside of these 4 key sectors. And then you have a link to their website for you to go in and then check out the eligibility criteria when they open up opportunities, so you can explore. So there's a lot in the toolkit. You just need to know how best to engage with them, what you want to read in here. But the most important one that's critical for you for this 5 weeks is your call for proposal, the grant application form, these templates, log frame, work plan, M&E, and then your budget template. So at the end of the 5 weeks, you have a fully developed grant proposal, a full project log frame document, a full project work plan, monitoring and evaluation plan, and a budget for that project. You can then begin to tweak it as you apply for different opportunities. And then you also have a project grant funding viability test. So I created it so that you can even check your existing projects if they meet these very critical criteria. There's so many criteria, as in, when funders are evaluating your project, they look at it and see, okay, is this project evidence-based? Does it drive systemic change that is sustainable? Does the way this proposal is, does it have, or does it demonstrate measurable impact? Does it have sustainability embedded in it? Is it an idea that is scalable? Is it innovative? So you can just use this and then benchmark what you're currently doing at your spare time, and then see, oh, what do you need to enhance with regards to your current project. So these are different materials that you can engage with, that's inside the toolkit. Is yours. You have lifetime access to the toolkit, so you can just download it and download the drive, the documents in the drive, and then keep that in your system and use anytime you want. Okay, So I promise that this meeting is going to be between 1 hour and 1 hour, 30 minutes maximum. We have gone through all of the requirements that we need to look at, the work we'll be doing on a week-to-week basis. So do you all have, what questions do you have? Do you have thoughts that you'd like to share with us and all of that before we close tonight? I'm going to drop the short video that shows you how to upload the document and invite me, and also the work plan for the 5 weeks, the different sections of the proposal you're working on a week-to-week basis. I'm going to drop that schedule in the classroom. So at this time, I've been talking for a long time. I want to hear all of your thoughts and what's the temperature within the classroom and how you feel right now as we get to work. Okay, so I will stop share. So what's the temperature within the class? How are you all feeling right now with all of these things that we have shared? Go on, Kofi.
Yeah. Good evening again.
Yeah, good evening.
And it's quite enlightening that usually for me, and forgive me when I say that there's a bit of skepticism, you know, when you come from the purely profit making understanding to trying to get into the mindset of people who are willing to support other noble ventures who sort of are targeted on the non-profit or social enterprise,
yeah.
those things. And that's also the reason why, because it's sort of an unlearning and relearning for me, because I have an understanding of, let's say, if I'm working with a purely profit-making venture, what funders or investors might be looking for as against, and as you talk, and when I went through some of the materials that you shared, they appear to be not too distinct differences, but it's I think that the major thing is here is how you present it.
Yeah.
Right. Instead of, let's say, communicating to somebody that I could make you a return of an X amount, but in this particular thing, how can I make people's life better with similar idea and all those things. So a case in point, and more like the reason why I joined this is that I have a group of women, right, that all of them are in profit-making ventures, but however, they have an association which is more like a non-profit that actually brings businesses into that fold and sort of try to build their capacity, and how each of these businesses are also contributing to a certain social need, right? i.e. either creating jobs, either sort of trying to provide an import substitution need, or how ventures or sections of their activities can be focused more of communal or social
community needs. Yeah.
So basically that's who they are, and they are kind of now in the need for, because they are expanding, a lot of people are joining, and initially they were self-funding most of the activities. So one of the main drive of the association is that how do they even get a lot more business women into business? So they have this idea of sort of catch them young, so that because it becomes an avenue to reduce unemployment. So they go into communal areas to sort of recruit young women, right? And the already established members are then are then connected to these young people as mentors. That you become a business mentor to one of them to also, and most of the activities are becoming demanding, and they cannot use, already most of them are SME startups.
Yeah.
So yeah, they cannot use their IGFs to support as a contribution
activities. Yeah.
Activities, and that's one of that, and that's one of the major case.
Excellent.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward how I'll be able to try to fit all as I support them and everything. So thank you very much for all these.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So it's actually very interesting because as you go through the training, you see that, like you said earlier, the thinking is still the same with the business, but the only difference is that in this part of proposal writing, for this segment of proposal writing, the donor is not really interested in the numbers, unlike the investor that wants to see that, okay, what's the cost for this period, and then what's the projected revenue, when is the business expected to break even, when are we becoming profitable. So it's not really about the numbers, it's about the tangible outcomes, benefits that the population will actually experience. The numbers are also important in terms of the budget to ensure that this solution is actually cost effective, and then all the stakeholders are going to get value for money from the project. So it's going to be an interesting ride for you because you're going to see some of the thinking, the mindset are the same, but now you're going to do a lot more work to explain what these outcomes are. So, in normally traditional businesses, we are interested in the bottom line. How much revenue? How much revenue do we have? How are we growing our customer base? What are the margins? It's more of the margins. But now you're going to be communicating more of the socio-economic benefits, experiences that the key population will gain. And that's what you're learning in addition to this capacity that you are bringing in into the program. So one of the things I'm seeing here that's going to happen within the session is that from Kofi is going to be sharing perspectives about, different, more like showing how you have to demonstrate value for money for what you're bringing. Because it's very difficult convincing somebody who is focused on the numbers, revenue, and profit, and then you are coming to tell the person about social impact. And so he is going to be sharing another critical perspective during the session. I hope he's gracious enough to do that, saying some of your ideas, how you're able to also create other channels of revenue. So those class conversations can focus on that. So everybody benefits from everyone's skill set within the room. So thank you for sharing, Kofi. Who else wants to share? We have 13 more minutes before we close out tonight.
Okay, the part that struck me, okay, first and foremost, I'm grateful for how detailed the course outline is, and especially to the, not just the course itself, but the, how would I call it, probably what I will refer to as the add-ons. Now, when it comes to the aspect of the checking the viability of the project, I want to see how we can be able to take, for example, for some of us that are already doing something, how we can be able to early enough know, okay, how viable is
your idea is.
Yes, the idea that we've been running, or if we would have to creatively generate something new, or I don't know how we'll go about that aspect, because
okay.
yes,
so here will be my
because
recommendation. Here will be my recommendation, because from my experience, I've seen that sometimes you have a predetermined project concept that you want to push. And then you may find opportunities that actually align with what your current project structure delivers. And then sometimes, like Folake will be able to understand this more, sometimes you find out that because of this opportunity, you have to develop something entirely new that is different from what you've been doing. Or in addition, you have to expand it. You now have to add other activities, add other outcomes and benefits that are more suitable to this opportunity. So it depends on what you're faced with. Your current project may work, or you just need to come up with something new. But for this class, I would just advise, do not stick to exactly what you have, and then you just want to develop the proposal to fit into what you have exactly the way it is, because if the current structure may have some technical gaps that actually makes it, I'll put in quotes, ineligible for funding or not attractive enough for funding. The landscape is changing, it's changing drastically. What funders used to support before is not what they are supporting now. They are looking for more things that drive more systemic change, that are more sustainability driven, that even have the capacity to fund itself after a while. So it's getting really hot. But my advice is, be open to evolve your current idea. Don't just bring the idea the way it is and then describe it in a proposal. As you follow the training on a week-to-week basis, as you see the different tools we use, especially from week one sets the foundation for the entire proposal. So if you miss doing an elaborate or a detailed problem analysis, from identifying a suitable need or a suitable gap in the community that you want to address. Like the example we used, you want to address slight headache, or you want to go for real endemic problems that you know as stakeholders are interested in this problem, and this problem is also in line with your organization's mission. It has to be something that is aligned with why you set up your organization. You cannot be an organization that is set up for health promotion and then you're going to do a project in environmental sustainability. So be open to come up with ideas that are so different from what you already have, because it's a systematic process. We start from identifying the gap in the community, how people have been affected, what are the drivers, and then that feeds into the benefits that should be delivered to this population, and then how you are structuring your program to function in a way that it bridges those gaps in the community, is able to provide the benefits and the solutions that are very specific for a particular population. So what you have would evolve, especially if it was not done properly. If you just came up, oh, I think this idea is good, this idea is good. So it will evolve. Open your mind. Don't stick to the way it is. Some of you, if you have the time, you can look at that viability test tool and then look at it. Tailor it, look at your project and start critiquing it and then asking your question. When we look at the guidelines of a project that is evidence-driven or research-driven, does it meet it, or we're just doing this because, oh, we think health promotion is good, and then we have done something that we're raising awareness about an issue that is not even a problem where we currently are. Maybe it's a problem in the next two communities, but we're just doing that work here. So open up your mind or taste, and then be creative. So as you engage with the training, as those ideas come, evolve what you currently have. I hope that helps. So who else we have 8 more minutes. Yeah. Okay, so your thoughts, what do you have questions, from the guidelines and all of that we have shared so far? Do you have reservations? Do you have comments?
Okay, can I quickly add this from in terms of, I don't know whether this one also works in terms of doing the problem analysis and asking why you want to undertake a certain activity, or why you need funding for a certain, I don't know whether you can also look at it in terms of, I mean, a common tool that I use in terms when people, approach me that they need funding, or they think they need cash, because mostly businesses are like that.
Okay.
You realize that either founders or those things, funders or those the people, business people, tend to think that they need cash, which basically might not be the case. So, so you use in terms of doing a root cause analysis on the 5 whys.
Okay.
So you then, whatever idea that you have to ask yourself 5 questions, 5 whys. Why is this problem there? And if you find an answer, then you ask yourself why to the why again, to the point that when you get to ask yourself the 5th why, then you are able to have an answer for it. So for example, the example that you use, that are you hoping to support someone who say they have a headache and someone who has been diagnosed with a terminal disease? I mean, if you have been diagnosed, is it not a case that we already know what is wrong with you? But instead of we saying that, okay, we know what is wrong with you, can we ask the question, how did you ended up maybe having a terminal disease? And if you are able to understand on the journey or the route to contracting a terminal disease, then we are going to look at it from a preventive sort of drive to educate people on how they can avoid contracting that particular. I mean, that is a different mindset. Someone, when you say
it's not different. When you watch the video for week 1, you see that we actually did a problem tree analysis, getting down to the roots and then using it to create the project.
And usually when you find that the various activities that you are going to establish in solving that particular need will come along with when you are from those whys. So your first why will come with an activity, your second why will come with an activity. So when you tackle the main thing, so the more you
that causal effect.
Yes. So usually, I mean, in terms of, and I think those are some of the things that I realized that, I mean, after all, it's not different from being in a profit environment.
It's not different at all. It's not, the mindset is the same.
When you ask people why are you not making enough sales, and they think that
you begin to identify, you begin to unearth the gaps. You begin to unearth the gaps. So it's not different. Now you are able to say this because of your business background. And then also, when I developed the course, I was able to bring in those mindsets and those tools because I also have a business background, having worked in business schools, having trained in business schools. But a lot of nonprofits do not have the business mindset. You see, when you were talking, I always smile because I know I'm excited because there's a core business person in the room that is really, really interested in return on investment. It's not passion. It's not emotions. The nonprofit sector is heavily driven on passion and emotion. Like if you listen to introductions, you hear people are passionate about this, passionate about. A businessman is passionate about his bottom line. A businessman is passionate about return on investment, but a nonprofit leader is passionate about helping. And so when people get into this space as nonprofit leaders, they do not have access to these business tools that helps people on the other side of the fence to create products or services that are actually sellable. And so this is very exciting for me because I'm looking forward to the conversations that will happen and the debates that will happen that will sharpen our minds and our perspective. So when we had the onboarding workshop, and I was sharing about myself, I told you all that I'm bringing a business mindset, integrate the work I do integrates a business mindset into social impact work. We're too passion driven and emotional about the work we do. We need to begin to ask ourselves serious, very critical questions that may even rubbish the current project you have, and you find out that you've been wasting your time and money being busy that leads nowhere. so that we can now come back to the drawing board and then bring something that is valuable to the public, bring something that is valuable to the market. So I'm really super excited, looking forward to the live sessions. We have 2 minutes more. I know I talk a lot and time can really fly by. So I want to ensure that we're ending at 1 hour, 30 minutes. I'm going to upload the video. I'm going to upload the video to the playlist for August cohort. So I would also share, like I mentioned, the schedule, week-to-week basis, the different sections of the proposal that you need to work with needs to be, I'll drop it in the classroom, and I'll also drop a video. If there's anyone that maybe you don't know how to upload the video to Drive, I cannot just assume that everyone knows how to upload a document to Drive and invite editors. You may know how to upload it, but you know how to share and invite someone to edit. You may end up inviting someone to just view when the person needs to edit. So I'll just drop the video. If you want to watch it, you can watch it, and then I would see you. Well, the class is open. You can always ask questions and all of that. I would always be dropping information there. I know some of us are in a lot of WhatsApp groups and the messages can be overwhelming. I try as much as possible to be civil with the messages I drop in the group, but check in and ensure that you're not missing out on any information or any activity. So I encourage you all to complete the work by Thursday evening, early morning Friday, so we can review, and then we'll be ready for the live coaching where we'll touch on the gaps we've observed and what you need to do to improve it. So that's it for your kickoff meeting. It was a pleasure engaging with you all. I'm looking forward to the live coaching sessions, looking forward to see what you all come up with. So enjoy the rest of your evening. Have a wonderful week ahead. Good night, everybody.
All right, good night.